self-care is not selfish. It's actually the biggest part of showing love that you could offer to your family, your friends, and your community.
As women, we nurture and take care of the world. And so it's just so important to make your health, your self-care numero uno. So
get around people who are going where you want to go and who are where you want to be. And that's exactly what I did. I wanted to be in real estate, so I got around people who were doing things in real estate that I wanted to do.
So you might not be able to move things around or change what happened to you, but if you can change the way that you see it and how you're reacting to it, there's a way.
Just do what you have to do. There's no excuse. This morning, I knew that if I didn't get up at 4 a.m. and clear out my emails and do everything that I needed to do.
You don't want the government to dictate or a judge to dictate how your hard-earned sacrifice and wealth gets distributed to your family and your loved ones.
Our culture is embedded in American culture. There are people who come to America and engage in American culture, which is Black culture. So Juneteenth is really about Black culture, and it's about celebrating us, celebrating the different diasporas of Black people, even the dialects.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday with Juneteenth NYC. We are super excited to have you joining us. My name is Athenia Rodney, CEO and founder of Juneteenth NYC. And we have been going through this month of January. We've started off at the top, right? Literally at the top of our crowns, our domes, our heads. And we have been talking about here. All this month has been a series of conversations where we are talking about our here, our cultural here. And that's something that I think we have really delved into before. So I am excited for the conversations that we have been having. We've talked about the self-taughtness of our culture here, the cosmetological process of getting your license to do here, and how that does not fits more into a Eurocentric world and not so much our Afrocentric heritage. And how a lot of things have gotten lost in between those two spaces. And today we have a legend that is joining us. And I am excited to bring her on to the stage. We are today not just going to be talking about beauty. And a lot of times when we look at here, it is focused primarily on the beauty aspect of it. But we're going to be talking about a little bit deeper, diving just a step further and understanding more about the technological portions of it, the culture part of it, and the legacy part of it. Today, we're stepping into a conversation about textured hair as it is in its pivotal moment. We're in a change. We're in a shift where so many things are kind of turning on its head, and they need to, because it just needs to happen right now. A moment where we need to transition, because for too long we have been complacent with how things have been going. And we are throwing a pebble, not even a pebble, a boulder, a rock in the water. Like we're creating a huge shift. And that's what we need to have. This is a moment where history, science, and community authority interact to define what comes next. So I would like to bring to have this great dialogue with Cheryl A. Morrow. She's a beauty executive, creative director, a legacy entrepreneur, shaping the future of textured hair care and the conversations that are around it. Cheryl is the daughter of pioneering innovator Dr. Willie Morrow, creator of the modern Afro comb commerce and a California curl, inventions that forever changed Black beauty, global style, and economic opportunity. As a steward of this groundbreaking intellectual property, Cheryl carries not only a legacy, but a responsibility. As the founder of the C. Morrow Inheritance and the architect behind initiatives like My Comb Black Owned, she is building a next generation global ecosystem rooted in education, product innovation, media, and economic empowerment for textured hair communities around the globe. And I would like to bring Dr. Cheryl Morrow to the stage. Welcome, my beautiful queen. How are you doing?
I am absolutely well. Better now. Let's get it. Let's get it going. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm gonna jump right in because we were just on the back end while we were waiting to kind of get started, and you were already dropping some nuggets on me, and I'm just like, what? Okay, so I'm gonna just start there where we kind of where our conversation was going. So I initially started a conversation. I was like, I heard so your father was the one who started the Afro pick, and you were like, no, not exactly. So can you explain to our community what the Afro pick was in its or what its intention was for, and then what we kind of use it for today?
Okay. Most, I guess, archaeologists, physicists, or people who are fans and they love to deal with archaeology. When you come to find a comb in what we call a comb, right? It's usually highly adorned, and its features is a lot of symbolic, phenotypical traits, such as a face, such as eyes, a mouth. It may have some other symbols like ancient symbols of just many different cultures of where that implement comes from. And because we call it a comb, we think it's naturally has some utility factor to it, right? And it's real customs of what it means to that particular culture. It is really symbolic in terms of being a being. It's another living, spiritual, breathing implement. It's and I think we were talking about it, I called it a talisman. It's a representation of what your higher aspirations, your hopes, your beliefs, and things of that nature, and you charge that implement in that object, and you objectify that unto the interface or the piece itself. That becomes a living representation of your essence, and then you put it in the ashe or the crown chakra.
Yeah.
And that represents your higher essence. Yeah.
So I know we were talking about, we went through the 80s where the comb became the Black Power symbol, or the 60s through the 80s, where it became the Black Power symbol. Would you say that was, I guess, an essence of helping us as a Black community to come up higher in unification, or what would you say that essence was that was being brought together by that symbol? Because every time I think of comb or pick, this is like
of course. The problem with that is that you can only be empowered through sovereignty, through selfhood, community, and when I mean sovereign, owning yourself. The problem with the fifth comb, Mr. Morrow's comb, had come maybe 6 years before that comb. So when Tommy Smith and John Carlos stood on the Olympic pedestal in Mexico City, they were just connecting it with what we call struggle. Okay. And so struggle placed on that kind of spiritual implement is diametrically opposed. And so that symbol, which is a European symbol, this is a European symbol, that everyone used that symbol during the really bad eras of Europe, when they were escaping persecution and bad economics. They were dying in sickness and things of that nature. That was that symbol. It's not synonymous with Black people in the Western Hemisphere, or I don't think even in the continent. The key here is that Black people never put that symbol on a comb. I think Black people at that time were not even manufacturing combs beside Mr. Morrow. So when the injection mold, which means the actual industrial process of making combs in plastic, it's called injection molding. That was a Jewish company and a white company. That has nothing to do with Black people. And I understand how we brought it into Black culture. We brought it, but Mr. Morrow is the only one coined that the Afro comb is the sixth man in the revolution. Problem with that is that we have to own the economics of the object for it to be freedom or revolution, resolution. That comb made other people rich. That has nothing to do with Black people or freedom or sovereignty or anything like that. And that's the dangers of unfortunate. That's probably in one of the things that we have to pay attention to in other cultures. Everything they use empowers them. We're the only when you're confusing symbol and you're just using it as costume, it doesn't allow you to understand that you're bleeding your economics and your spiritual economic essence. See, once again, comb is an essence tool. Whatever you put on it is supposed to empower you. That was the leak in the roof for us, that buying that comb from China and buying it from other people. When you put in the Google, that comb is not connected to any Black person. Unfortunate.
Wow. So I just want to shift a little bit to, what I'm hearing a lot about in all of the conversations that we've had, especially centered around our hair, has been around like us protecting and expanding intellectual property, right? And that is what I'm hearing in some respects. And where a lot of people feel like our culture is constantly being stolen from us because we may be the makers or the creators of it, and then someone comes in and they put an extra bead or they put a symbol or something, just a slight change, and they're reproducing it and they're making millions of dollars off of it, and we're not to be the wiser. Like, we haven't gotten a 1 red cent or penny from it. So what do Black founders still misunderstand about IP and ownership that you might be able to share?
The nature, it starts in about, maybe say in about 1710, meritorious manumission. Most people got in connection with that particular term through a man named Dr. Claude Anderson. They may have heard meritorious manumission. And during the Jim Crow era and prior to the first, second generations of African, West Africans coming to America, those generations were very close, still probably remembered their high skills in chemistry and steel making, furniture making, and things of that nature, agriculture. That first and second generation, right? Those had very, and when I say very high alchemy skills. That's why they were the blacksmith. I mean, they were brought here for a purpose, not just to, plow no fields. and that anybody who believes that is unrealistic and naive. But the one of the things that's important is that IP and patents and things and trademarks and registered, those are for the person who takes it, not from the progenitor or the creator, but to take it and then for them to patent. It's why it's always a fee or money attached to it. That's one of the ways that when you steal something or you take something, and the person most likely that creates it doesn't have the funds to actually protect it, because it's a protective mechanism from 1710 meritorious manumission. It's how you got your freedom. If you can invent something that your owner can make money off of, that's where it stems from, patents and things. Because one of the features of patents is that you have to tell people what you're doing. You have to show it. You have to blase, skip it. So, right. And one of the things that I will tell people in my people, the best protection instead of intellectual property, the best intellectual property is, or the greatest contract, the greatest form of that is a receipt. Because the judge and the court only protect what is sold, not what is created.
So when you say receipt, so if I were to create something and I were to share it with someone else, you're saying that I should put an amount on the information that I'm sharing,
right? Just sell it. Sell it to your mama. I don't care. Just sell it, because when you get a receipt, what's on the receipt? The time, the date, a signature, a bill, a charge, and exchange and transaction of money, the address of where you did it. If you see a receipt, now when you get one of the, especially when you go to one of them drug stores where they give you a long receipt, they just keeps coming out, right? And you don't understand the name of where you bought it. It's the address. It's even the time. It's the number of the register you went to. So you even know what register you were at. And that register is that person who received your money or your transaction or your car. And then you signed it, and then you put your pen in. There's a lot on a receipt. But even if I wanted to sue you, Miss Rodney, right? I have to prove that I had it first. So if I sold it first and you wanted to take it, the judge is going to look at you and say, well, how much do you want it for? And how bad do you want it? Because they had it first. Because I have a receipt. I thought of it first. I sold it. And then the judge looks at you and say, well, how much do you think it's worth? Well, 17 million. You willing to pay that? No. Then you can't use it. Wow. And so my point is that as my father has 12 patents, but they're only good if you sell it first. And so that is where and anyway, but I know I gave you a long answer, but that's that's basically what we miss and we don't understand, is that the nature of why the patent and the trademark, the registered and copyright, that those symbols, see, once again, symbols, that's what they're for. And it's not really for the creative process. It's for the person who owns the creative process.
And I'm going to go back to what you said, because you said, yeah, even if you just sell it to like a family member. So like, we talk about the poor man's means of being able to do something. So what does that look like? So as long as, let's say I sold it to my husband or to my child or to my like you said, my mother, and it has the transactional elements on it, then at that point it now becomes the point of which it is now influential or
commerce. It's in commerce.
Commerce, got it.
It makes
put in
it
commerce.
because it puts a date on it.
Mm-hmm.
It puts the creative process into a chronological time period.
Got
Because because patents are about first, not better. First, better, you know what I mean? Or,
it. Right.
they say first, better, or the best,
and
or
best.
whatever.
Right. Best, better, and best.
Right. So we're right. So the point here is, if you can prove first, that is all the courts are dealing with. And we only do patents in hopes that deters.
So do you
But
have to do a patent even if you've done a transaction? So like, for example, my logo for Juneteenth, the spirit just told me, get a logo created for your organization. I got this created in 2010, 11. And I paid someone to do it for me. And then all of a sudden, when Juneteenth became a national holiday, everybody was taking my logo and it was all over the place. And I was sending all kinds of that's my logo. What you doing? And I was like, well, it's not patent. And I literally, so I went through the process of patenting it. And then I went.
You don't necessarily have to.
The first thing that they asked me was, do you have proof of ownership of this logo? And I said, sure do. And I went and searched my emails and the email that I don't never use. And I was like, here's the receipt. And this is what they did. And this is how it's created. And they automatically
in the story.
It gave
in
it
the
to
story.
me.
You have to put it in function. Once you put it in function and you do a transaction with it, or the logo on your receipt, or whatever the case may be, you know what I mean? And that is proof of commerce function.
Got it.
It's and so patents make your mother proud. It doesn't deter anyone.
Got it.
You have to, because once you go into the proving process of patents and things of that nature, it's about timing. Mm-hmm. When did you have it? It's about first. And so that doesn't necessarily mean, now I'm not right. And no one gives a shit about how smart you are. That patents are for moms and dads and families. Oh my God, look how how smart you were. But if you never sold it, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like my dad used to say, you want to protect your idea? Don't do it.
Mm. Well, I can't even say that, because there's plenty of times where an idea was in my head and then I saw somebody else doing it and I'm like, how you find that? So I know,
right.
Don't just give it to one person, but he want to see who want to listen to him and see who will bring it to fruition. So I've learned my lesson. When he say move, you better move, because he gonna find somebody else to work it.
Right. Absolutely. Good point.
I definitely. So you talked about your dad, right? So tell me, what is it like growing up as the daughter of Dr. Willie L. Morrow? Did you realize in real time that you were witnessing history, or did you come to this understanding later?
No, I just thought he was a dad that was quirky, a nerd, loved tinkering. And I was down for it. Me and my brother, we were down for it. And it was fun. And he enjoyed it. Now, did it change our life? And I will tell, and the reason why I am very adamant about the shifting and the rebuilding and the Black hair care reset, right, is because I had a fairy tale childhood. Black hair care it afforded. Now, I didn't really see that kind of morph. You don't feel it. It's almost like you don't feel the earth turning. You just know the days are night turns into day and day turns into night. You don't really pay attention to it. But I enjoyed, for 18 years of my life, it was school, the office, helping dad. And he made it fun because of all the personalities coming in. It was fun.
Sure. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So what's something about your dad that maybe a value or that the public doesn't often hear, but you feel deeply shaped who you are?
My parents were musically inclined. A lot of music, a lot of singing, music, gospel music. One of my father's dream was to own a radio station. He had a radio station for 11 years, #1 in the Southern California market.
Okay.
And so that, what with the notoriety of his Black hair care, all celebrities came to our house. And then all of most actors and athletes and entertainers, they wanted in the beauty, hair care market. And so, and then of course, that's when, at that point, then Muhammad Ali wanted a product. Then this person wanted a product. Then that person wanted a product. Then this person wanted a product. And so Mr. Morrow, that was getting them into the beauty industry. That was really, really awesome. Yeah.
Wow. So just being able to be a part of that. That's dope. That's definitely
yeah. So
you said, it was a part of your matrix. It wasn't like you.
Yeah, hair care touches everything.
Yeah.
Hair care touches sports, it touches entertainment, it touches politics. Everybody's is really trying to, get a piece of it. Perfumes, products, oils, perfumes, everything, And so I had a childhood kind of between music, entertainment, sports, figures, and entertainers. So
does that mean that you're a singer?
Let me drop this. I am actually right now an AI music producer, and I am really good at it too. Like, I do soundtracks and for films and stuff like that. And we're coming out with my dad's film called American Curl. And it goes through this amazing, probably the most sophisticated formula we've ever had in the entire beauty history, right? The curl was, I know we laugh about it, but it was the most sophisticated, and still is, the most sophisticated formulation in beauty history. And so
when you say the curl, are you talking about like what ended up, I guess, becoming the Jerry
curl, the California curl? Yeah.
So what's the difference between the California curl and this Jerry curl?
California curl was an industrial builder. It was exclusive to hairstylists. It was exclusive to the industry and Black distributors. It built the billion-dollar Black hair care industry. Jerry belonged to a white man named Jerry Mack, and he had a technician called Larry Brooks who went, but it was more home kit. You can get a home kit. So it's like California curl versus kitchen curl.
Got it.
And the kitchen curl was the Jerry. And you know what I mean? Like Luther's looked like a kitchen curl. You know what I mean? But when you had them real big, large curls popping, it's like Jamie Foxx said when his partner said, "Oh, you had a curl," he was like, "I had a California curl, not a kitchen curl." Like Babyface would be like, "I had a California curl. The other curl made your hair go bad." Like red. So they had all these, these stories, but the curl was really from Mr. Morrow. As he walked it into Comer Cottrell. So that's why we have Proline. He walked it into Mr. Gardner. That's why we have Carefree Curl. walked it into the Bronner Brothers. They had Cosmo Curl. Then in the World of Curls, Leisure Curl. And, boom. The point here is that Mr. Morrow just walked it in and said, hey, baby, let's compete. You ain't got to buy it. We're building a Black hair care industry. That's what I'm after. And so history was made.
I love that. So you talk, I follow some of the work that you've been doing, and you've been talking about hairstyles have a voice. And I would like to understand what you mean by that. What do you mean by hairstyles have a voice? Is that I'll stop there. What do you mean by hairstyles have a voice?
When we say culture, we can't really apply that word as a monolith to Afrocentricity, because culture is a multitude of systems, of belief systems, style systems, customs, rituals. And when we say culture, I hope we're talking about Black American culture, right?
Right.
So Black American culture, even with the Gullah people of how we started, we still have some really rooted West African cultures in Black America, right? But when people say Black American culture, they mean the gamut. That could be true, but you can't say that African culture because it's just too many. But to answer your point in terms of style, has a voice, because once again, style is an inner expression that reflects out. So if I were to give you a haircut or a style or locks or whatever the case may be, you are taking on that wisdom put on you're giving it a face, called an interface. You're giving it a form. So whatever that style, how that style makes you feel, that style takes that form on, it should reflect whatever it is that you have attached to that style in terms of how your emotions, your confidence, your inner dialogue, what you want to, project out into the world. And all of that is, an expression. It has an expression vibration to it. And so that's what I mean by that. Or that's what you mean by that.
I love that because as you're saying that, I'm just like, my daughter gets her hair done, or when I get my hair done, when my husband comes home and he has a whole nother level, like a whole new air of him. He walking in there like he walking on clouds. I'm like, you just got your hair cut or something? He's like, no. I'm like, yes, you did. Or, so it definitely, with the way you explain a hairstyle having a voice, I totally see that. And how I even got into hair myself, because I was one of those people that was like, my grandmother's just like, your hair has to be straight, it has to be long, and all of these things. And I'm just like, I don't want that. So I had to wait until she, God rest her soul, I had to wait till she passed away so I could cut my hair.
I know, no, it's real. Because length means validation. Width means power. Fullness means vibrance, means young, means youth. Those are all expressions of an inner, comfortability. That's our own inner dialogue projected outward.
So
that's why we choose it,
So I like mine short. So you're telling me you can look at someone or look over, I guess, their dichotomy of hairstyles over the years and have an idea of their personality?
Absolutely. Well, especially how many times do we say, girl, I couldn't rock that. but you can. How many? What does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't
It
feel comfortable
means
in it.
it means you don't feel comfortable in it. That is all talk. That's inner dialogue. That is conversation. Now, sometimes we do do it for cosmetic reasons. Maybe we're trying to grow our hair back out, or we get a certain style, right? And we're trying to have it low maintenance versus high maintenance. And it's all indicative of what we're saying. I don't have time, my lifestyle, or I need to wait. It is a conversation. And that's why the hairstylist has to have a conversation with that particular person. I was in the Naomi Sims salon on West 57th Street, right? And I remember Karl Lagerfeld coming in with, of course, our mentor, James Harris at that time. And he said, make sure that you are sending the message that you want to project. Because he said, I love the way you're dressed, blah, 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 but it's very provocative. And so people treat you how you look. They don't know you. Right. They don't know your conversation. They don't know how smart you are. They don't know whatever you are. The point is that people treat you how you look, and make sure that you choose wisely. But so we know women who have those Shirley Pixie sharp cuts or bald head. Those are very bold, provocative personalities. And we know that the traditional, women who have length, they may be, the length hides. And length is very conservative because it's been the standard. Long hair is connected to validation. I see you, or vibrance and fullness. What does thin hair say? Well, we know what thin hair says. Right?
Now that
we know what it
says. That's what
it means. Aging. It means old. It means aging. And so that's what we have industries to give women thicker hair and men thicker hair. Yeah.
So in some of the work that I've seen that you've talked about, you speak about heritage science. How do you define that, and why is it important for the future of textured hair care?
I also call it plantation beauty.
Plantation beauty. Okay.
Plantation beauty. But because the smartest generations of Black people are not here. They brought the sciences. When generations get what we call Afrofuture, our job is not heavy lifting. The heavy lifting has been done. The price has already been paid. The goal here is that once the generations begin to cash in, that's when everybody else's culture gets all nervous. Because we're supposed to use the technologies to extract the heavy lifting that's already been done, right? And so in the plantation, we already had our alchemy, chemistry, mathematics, our engineering, our architecture, our agriculture. We already had that. Now, did it pass on? That's the question.
No.
Did we ask for it? That's the question. Did we pay attention? That's the question. At the end of the day, did the prior generation pitch it? And were we there to catch it? And the key here is that the reason why I talk about it, and I have a lot of, I won't say a lot of issues with economic coaches. Well, yeah, I do. Because at the end of the day, inheritance, generational wealth, we can't begin to understand it until we understand the prior generation. So plantation beauty has all of the salt technology, has all of the acid technology, has all of the future technology. everything on that plantation. The plantation had the greatest Black American thinkers in the history of mankind.
Wow.
They were the first to teach Europe how to preserve their food. It was food technology, cosmetic technology, engineering at its highest level.
Hydroplaning,
And so,
all of it. Yeah.
right. And so it's so funny because, I don't really get excited about, and I didn't get excited about, who cares about, there was a million Uncle Nearest. Who gives a shit? They were all chemists. They were all alchemists. The key here is when you have a white company wanting to really actually get the marketing and to put together the other whiskey company, because at the end of the day, Uncle Nearest, how did he know how to, he didn't go to school.
Right.
He couldn't go to school. So how did so the key here is if he was able to build a whiskey company for white folks, why can't he build one for himself? He wasn't allowed to. And so the heavy lifting that we do, when I could say plantation beauty, right? They were already whiskey makers, distilled. That's where cosmetic comes from. Whiskey is a cosmetic. Alchemy is a cosmetic.
Yeah.
It is to aid. They were medications, right? And so my point is that is where heritage is in science. Not that we don't know science and all that inner city 1970s bull crap about, we got to teach Black people how to read. We got to. We taught your ass how to read. You know what I'm saying? We taught you,
the real
privilege.
Yeah.
We taught you all those wonderful things. And so, and that's what you call owning your heritage. You have to know. And as an heir, we are all heirs. And I people call me the heiress and everything. That's fine. However, but we're all heirs. We were all left something. You may not have been presented that way, but 9 times out of 10, the plantation beauty of George Washington Carver, Austin Curtis, S.B. Fuller, and all of those that turned those things into executives and turned those into great Black hair care companies, those are dynasties. And those Ultra Sheen is a dynasty, right? And all of those things are for the picking for our Black children to pick up. They don't have to pick it. They don't have to work it. They don't have to be cotton. They don't have to go through anything extreme. They just have to know that they're an heir. Now, if we don't know how to be heirs and heirs, that's a whole other thing. And that's where me and economic Black wealth and wealth coaches, that's where I really get irritated. But to learn how to be an heir and to talk to your progenitor, retire your progenitor. It's me retiring my dad, a Black man who got us on the board.
You talk a lot about heirs. Even in your on your platform, you were talking about being an heir doesn't just mean being born of like you said, being an heiress, but actually doing the work. Do you and this is generationally, this has been a challenge, especially in our community, where you have someone who has, an established company, and the child, usually the firstborn, believes that they're the heir and they should naturally just get it without having to work for it. Where someone else, maybe an in-law or a cousin or something who's been around, who's putting in the work, and they end up getting the establishment because they put the work in and they know the business. What is your take on the differences between I guess a biological heir versus a self-taught or structured heir?
One of the things that, let's just be clear. Male progenitors are different than female progenitors. That's number
Absolutely.
one. Okay.
Absolutely.
If the male comes from the female that started the mother, the process of tethering is different. What I mean by tethering. So let's just say if most people don't realize that my mother's mother, my father's mother, and my father's aunt, we would not have known a Willie Morrow because it was those three women who protected his destiny. Female progenitors do that more often, and so they create. Now, my father's process of princehood, and so when I say don't call little girls and little boys kings and queens, don't do that. That's horrible to do that.
Really?
Because what happens is they miss the prince and princess phase. And so princess means that I can screw up as much as I want to, and I don't get the blame. I can learn as much. I can go where I want to go. People take me with them. Oh, can I take Cheryl? Oh, can I take Cheryl? I got to travel, but I did it when the requirement and expectations were low.
Mm-hmm.
So I could get the really good nectar of everybody because people want to pour into a princess.
Yeah.
They don't pour into no king.
No
okay,
queen.
let's just be real.
Queen. Right.
Okay.
They feel like you already have the essence. Yeah.
Right. So the prince, you're always, oh, don't say nothing to him. Oh, he's so wonderful. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And he can screw up a whole bunch of stuff. And he's building relationships while he's a prince. He's inheriting his father or mother's relationships. He's getting everything ready. Because, baby, let me tell you something. Once king and queen happen, there's no lessons.
Yeah.
You just got it. And that is when you have, right. And so you're paying attention, right. So, it's cute to have Blue Ivy on stage because the pressure is not there.
Mm-hmm.
There's no expectations on her. So let her tinker around and dance around while all she can, because when it comes to being Beyonce, her mama, that's a whole other level.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where you get to trip, you get to fall. Oh my God, Blue Ivy fell. You ain't got Beyonce falling is a big damn deal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that is the art. But I will say that the difference is that if the progenitor chooses the successor, and they have to tether them to the passion, to the reason why, the purpose, everything. And it is very mindful. It is very direct. It is awareness. That child is aware. I always knew. I knew that it wouldn't be my brother. I always knew because I was tethered in a different way. I look like my dad.
And are you the oldest?
Like my dad. No, I'm the oldest girl, but not the oldest. No, I have a brother that is deceased, but he was charismatic and all those things. And while he was doing his thing up front, I was being princess. I was just listening, picking up everything in the rooms. I was able to go in rooms that the average, but little girls and little boys who are next must have an era when they can really just be and still be special. They can just be, but be privileged, and they know they're getting ready, and people are speaking to them kindly, and everybody they're getting all this wonderful respect, and they're not earning it, but they're learning to respect it. And so when we talk about wealth building, it's legacy business is Let me tell you, legacy is I'm still, and my father transitioned in 22, Althenia. Okay. It's 2026, and I haven't even gotten to the middle. And so
I can't. Yeah. I can only imagine. There's so much to still uncover. I mean, my grandfather passed almost 10 years now, and so many of the things that you were just sharing about patents, he had like 20 patents and all of these, all of these things. And if I would have knew the information that you shared at the beginning of this, where it was just somebody, where it was a transaction that happened, then we would have been millionaires. Like we could have been able to go after these individuals and say, hey, my grandfather created those items. But because it just sat as a patent on somebody's wall somewhere, a piece of paper, there was nothing to kind of move it forward. So just taking in some of those. We have about 5 minutes before we transition. We got a couple of people who are on that have shared. They're like, of course, I think this is Sando. He's like, good afternoon, mentor. This is such an informative session. I'm learning so much. So glad I'm on here. No, I love to hear about financial districts, generational wealth. So we got some the hot box in New York. So welcome everyone who is joining us. I do want to go just jump in this because this I went to predominantly white school, and so this go fall right in line.
Go ahead.
So this go fall right in line with your dumbest thing said by Black hair. So your podcast highlights the absurd and harmful things people say about Black hair. So why do you feel humor is such a powerful entry point for education?
Because it takes away the intimidation factor. There's a difference between an A student, a B student, and a C student. And the C student is the sweet spot. But the C does also stand for creative. They're the creative. Okay. And I know they like to insult the A and Bs and say that A and Bs work for C students. But it's not just the fact that they're C students. It's that the creative force is so magnanimous. It's full, and then too, it's fun, right? And it's always connected with innovation on top of it. But to your question, and the highest intelligent people are funny people, but it loosens up, it breaks up the intimidation factor. One of the things that we have found in Black hair education is that we really don't have education because Afro hair science taught by Dr. Morrow has never been commercialized. It's been encased into professionals. But the generation of the professional has not heard it in about 30, 40 years.
Wow.
And so the natural hair movement erased education, and now it became social media. Okay. And so they took it out of the cadence of professionalism, cosmetology, Black hair care, and now put it in terms of review and opinion. So now education is opinion in a review of a product. And so,
which is still subjective.
We decided
we can sit there and we can say, a chemical is harmful. And I think we were talking about this the other day on the call, and we were like, the Jerry curl was supposed to be one of the most harmful what do you call them? Chemicals that were in it. Right. And when I sat there and I looked at all of the major individuals who ever used this chemical, right, the Jerry curl, all of them were either still alive, and if they had died, it was because of drug overdose, not because of any kind of ailment or cancer or any of those things. So it was like, the media with sharing content, media shares content. So that's, I'm like, it's so subjective. And I feel like it sways with the wind, like wherever we're going in that time for the industry.
You know, and let me just say this, and let's just make sure that we understand that all studies follow the money.
Absolutely.
All studies follow the money. Okay. And then and if you guys can really truly understand why me and LaDosha, we put in comedy, right? It's very important, is because it really is so egregious and outlandish, the things that they do say about Black people's hair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who it is. Okay. We have created a whole glossary of words that make no scientific sense, but we went for it. Right. And so it's important for us to put the joke, because the joke's always on us, because it's always coming from us. One scholar said something about racism, and we were talking about hair, and he was talking about the word nappy. I says, but we created the word nappy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the funny part, because white people don't even think that much of you to even put a word on your hair. They don't think that much of you. So it's not, that's a Black colloquialism. That's a Black word.
Stuff like that I didn't even realize or even know. Like, we created the word ashy. Like, that wasn't my white counterparts. When I tell them, I'm like, oh, they don't know what ashy means. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what ashy means? And it's not a part of their context.
Because we are, see, when it comes to cosmetic and appearance and dress and presentation,
that's all.
We up here.
Yeah, we set the standard.
And that's why we create those cultural standards for ourselves. So we would invent the word nappy. We would. When you don't go in there and do like Africans say, with your culture, with your mother culture, go comb your hair. They don't mean go comb it in terms of trying to be presentable. They're saying take time with you.
Right.
Take time with you. Make yourself do, it's a tradition to put time into how you present in the world. Get your inner conversation together.
Absolutely.
On what are you projecting? But because of course, Black culture, we have to put race in it, and we've got to put inferiority complexes in it. Then the word nappies and things become detrimental. And not to say that they're not detrimental, they are. But if you put it in historical context, and then you put it in ancestral context, the grooming process is so high because it's part of our custom of how we be in the world and how we look in the world. And those are, unfortunately, synonymous with each other. They are one and the same.
Unfortunately.
And that's what we call haute couture. That is high art of it's high art. And it's a high requirement, because you're supposed to be introduced to your beauty process when you're 2. You're supposed to be introduced to the beauty process when you are a baby.
Wow.
Get you ready. Get you ready.
And that's where, the presentations, the presenting the children, or presenting the girl or the boy, and all of those things come into place. And still going back to our African ancestry, where we were presented, we got naming ceremonies and all of those kind of things.
And then you have the Western effects and influences too. Right. And then that's what makes us Black America, or Afro America, because we took every negative, every grotesque statement and turned it in. And now every people, 11 billion on every continent, if they can be any and look and practice or imitate anybody, it's people called Black America. We are the shit. We're the taste makers of the global market. Absolutely.
We sure are. Well, thank you so much. We are at the hour. It has been
Absolutely.
an amazing time. I always feel like the time goes by so fast. At the beginning, it's like, oh, what are we going to talk about
Yeah,
all this time? And then it's like, oh my gosh, the conversation keeps going. But Cheryl, thank you so much for sharing your
yeah.
time, your wisdom, your truth with us
Athena,
today.
Athenia, Athenia, Athenia,
Athenia.
right?
Yes. Yes,
Athenia.
ma'am.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for your time and thank you for your interest.
Thank
This
you.
conversation has been well for me. Thank you.
I am glad that you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing the extension of this during our event on February 15th and 16th, where you will be
Yes.
hosting the town hall. So if you do not have your tickets yet, we
Stay at the
encourage you
bottom.
to definitely get your tickets to be a part of our African Intelligence Summit, the first
Yes.
ever. And will be focused very heavily on the education of all of what we are talking about, from the different aspects, what's missing, what needs to be included, how we shape, how we view ourselves. Like, we're going to be talking about all of those conversations all in one space. So we definitely hope that you join us. And it's just a nominal fee. And guess what? You don't have to pay for parking. You don't have to go get all dressed up and extra. And if you do the VIP, you get a nice little package of some samples of products from some of our sponsors. So we definitely would like for you to just come stop off at our
Beautiful.
page and check this out. Hearing you speak as a daughter, a steward, a visionary makes it clear that this work isn't about nostalgia, it's about responsibility, and knowing that our responsibility is to protect what we have built, to educate the next generation,
Absolutely.
and to ensure the Black innovation is not celebrated, but owned, defended, and advanced by us. Thank you, sis.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you. I love you. It was amazing.
Athenia,
to have
thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Be well and be blessed. Have a great one, everyone.
From the roots of tradition to the rise of reconnection, where history meets the heart of Africa. Celebrate freedom, culture, and homecoming. This isn't just a trip, it's a return. The motherland is calling. Will you answer?